Kabbalah. Oh. Now, you would think that, okay, Rabbi Feigenbaum, that was very clever. You spent like 45 minutes on like 12 words, but you're not going to be able to spend too much time on all these names. Oh, yes, we can. There, Shmotan, these are the names. Matei Ruvain, for the tribe of Ruvain, Shemua ben Zakur. Matei Shimon, Shaphat ben Chari. Matei Yehuda, Kalev ben Yefuneh. Matei Yisachar, Yigal ben Yosef. Matei Ephraim, Hoshea ben Nun. Matei Binyamin, Palti ben Raful. Matei Zvulun Gadil ben Sudi. Matei Yosef. Matei Menashe Gadi ben Susi. Matei Daravel ben Gamali. Matei Shesum Michael. Matei Natulinas ben Nosi. Matei Gad Guel ben Machi. Okay. Now, these are the names of the people that Moshe sent to spy out the land. And Moshe called him Shea ben Nun. He called him Yehoshua. Tons of problems on this. So you all already know the Rashi, I'm sure. Let's do the Rashi quickly. What do you mean Moshe? What do you mean Moshe called Hosea Yehoshua? Really hit Palel Alav. He was davening for him. And he added a Yud to his name, so he has, the name of God in it. Yud Hey. Yehoshua, rather than Hosea. Ka, God, Yoshiacha, right to the Savior. God should save you. Me'asat meraglim, from the evil plot of the Meraglim. Thank you very much. Very famous verse. So many problems, unbelievable. There's a few problems. What's the most famous problem? Any problem you want. What's problematic with this?
You just said they were righteous.
Hey, they were righteous, so why do you have to save from the evil plot?
So, and why didn't he pray for all of them?
Most famous problem, why didn't he pray for everybody? Because he liked this. Right?
He was the right-hand man.
A right-hand man, okay.
Saw potential with him only, and this potential.
For him to go bad
would be a complete mess up, and then who would take over?
I was gonna say, why is he praying for anyone? How does he know that there's a plot?
Yeah, how does he know it's going to go well? Right?
Hashem told him there's a problem.
No, Hashem said I don't think it's a good idea.
Well, that's enough.
Yeah.
I would worry. I wouldn't sleep at night.
Right.
You know.
And one last little problem, you all said very well, right? If you paid attention in Shul the last few weeks, right, we had the story of the Battle of Amalek. Moshe sat on a rock with his arms up in the air, praying, and who did he send out to fight? Yehoshua. And he's called Yehoshua. Tony, Moshe called Hosea ben Nun Yehoshua. What are you talking about? 2 years ago, whatever it was, 2.5 years ago, whatever it did, right? His name was already Yehoshua then. See, told you how much time I could spend on one puzzle. Never had it. Always had faith. Oh, so the truth is, there's an excellent Ramban. Not here. Ramban talks about it there back in Shelach. He says, and Moshe sent out Yehoshua. Says about Yehoshua. That doesn't get the name Yehoshua like 2 years later, right? So he says a very nice shot. There's others, but I remember this one because it's a nice shot. Interesting. If you'll notice, if you look at the pasuk, it doesn't say he changes his name. It says, "Vayikra Moshe Hosea ben Nun." Moshe called Hosea ben Nun. He called him Yehoshua. Says the Ramban, Yeshua's name was always Yehoshua. That was his name. People called him Hosea, right? Like, I don't know, like people call him Shmuley or shortened names, right? Right? So, right, they called, Yankel instead of Yaakov, or Kobe instead of Yaakov, right? Or something, right? 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 So they called, Yehoshua was always called Hosea, right? His real name was Yehoshua, right? Moshe called him Yehoshua, right? Right? And Moshe picked Yehoshua, but the Olam, the Chevra, called him Hosea, right? Moshe Rabbeinu here said he called Hosea, he called him Yehoshua, meaning he told everybody, please refer to him as Yehoshua. Why did he want everybody to refer to him as Yehoshua? Because every time they'll say his name, they'll be saying the name of God. And maybe that will keep them focused. Yehoshua, Ka, Hoshiacha, God saves us, God takes care of us. So every time they say, hey, Yehoshua, look at this weird, hey, look at them giants, man. Hey, Yehoshua, get a load of that those fortified cities. So every time they say his name, they're saying Yehoshua. Look at the giants. Yehoshua. What? Yehoshua. What are we going? They'll keep on saying Yehoshua. What does Yehoshua mean? So the giants, but Yehoshua. So really, right? He had everybody call him Yehoshua, and a little bit unlike Rashi, so he's davening, but not davening just that God should say Yeshua. It was his plan to try and get everybody to focus, because as God had told him, it's not a smart idea. I am going to give them opportunity to mess up. And as we said in the very first class, if you remember, what does it mean that God said, I'm going to give them opportunity to mess up? God does not force you to mess up, but God can make your life easier and God can make your life harder, right? You don't happen to get any phone calls on Motzei Shabbos. You don't have to worry about going to the wrong place. You happen to get invited. Now you got to decide whether to go. You get offered some crazy, well, they're a great business deal. It's not 100% kosher, but it's pretty good at making a lot of money. If you never hear about it, you never get tested. You hear about it, then you're tested. God can arrange your life such that they missed you when they were looking for you. Your mind was busy and you got 5 minutes to decide and you missed it. Baruch Hashem. You didn't have to be tested. It was a shady deal. Or God can just have you at the right place at the right time and everyone's saying, yeah, I'm in, what about you? Right? And you're getting tested, right? We don't want to be tested, right? We don't want to have to be faced with tough, tricky, dicey decisions, right? We'll tell a story for the videotape, right? I'll never forget it. A young lady once called me, a young married lady called me. She was working for an organization, a Jewish, a secular Jewish organization that did funding grants for different things, and they put in for quite a while ago. They had put in for some funding from some corporation, some corporation office or whatever, some corporation, for funding for some kind of a cultural grant or something. The money had never ever come through. They dropped that entire project because nobody funded it. They moved on to other things, right? And they were pretty broke, and they were looking for money for stuff, and all of a sudden a check came in the mail on a Friday from that corporation from months ago showing they just woke up, here's, I don't know what it was, a big chunk of money for that project. Well, they weren't doing the project anymore. Forget it, for following. The project was over, wasn't happening, right? So they said, well, we have to send them back the check. They gave it for this project. We should send them back. So I said, thank you very much, but we've dropped that project. We do have 2 other projects we can interest you in. That's what she was going to write. And the person in charge says, what are you, stupid? Just cash the check. Just put it in. But it's for that. They're not going to know if they don't know what project happened. They give out billions of dollars. They don't know, stupid little. They gave it for this. Send them a thank you letter. And believe you me, we'll never hear from them again. They ain't going to know the difference. They ain't going to ever check up. Just deposit the money. They don't care. They give it for this project. You think they don't care. So that's what they said. Still, you can't do that. You don't put in the check. Don't come to work on Monday. She calls me up on Friday. What do I do? And they were not a wealthy. It was a young couple. I don't even think he had a job at the time. It's not like they were rolling in dough, right? So I said, I can't tell you what to do, but if you would ask me if it's stealing, I would have to say yes. But I can't tell you what to do, right? She said, I'm not asking what to do. I just want to know. I said, yeah, they gave you a check specifically. It said, she read me the letter. I said, then you can't. You have to ask them permission to use it for something else. You can't do that, right? She ripped up the check. Right before she went home, ripped it in little pieces, put it in an envelope, put it on her boss's desk, and said forget it, right? And didn't show up that Monday. And the story is that Baruch Hashem, she found a job, her husband found a job, and all is well. That's one of those good endings, right? Okay? But you don't want to be tested. You don't want to have to have a test like this. It's a difficult test. That's what was going on here. God said, I'm going to create, now that you show a little bit of lack of faith, I'm going to create a test. You're going to see weird food. You're going to see giants. You're going to see people dying. You're going to see a lot of weird stuff. You could interpret it intelligently, but it will be very easy for you to misunderstand it and mess up. It will be your choice. You have free will, right? But now you're going to get stuck with that. And Moshe Rabbeinu knows that, as he said absolutely correctly. So according to the Ramban, it's really very nice. He knows that everyone's now is going to be stuck. They are kosher people, but they're going to face a very difficult test. Because his reverse psychology didn't work, and they're going. Right? And God said, if they go, it's going to be really true. They're going to face a difficult test. They're going to see very confusing things, and they're going to mess up, man. It's not going to be easy. So therefore, Moshe changes Hoshea's name. Doesn't change it. Turns it into Yeshua, in order that everybody will be saying, that name, hopefully they will focus and pass that test that he knows is coming. But that's the Rambam. Other people say different. Other people say that his name was changed. Now the Torah, when it writes back in Parashat Shelach, writes the name that we know him as, right? Because the Torah many times does it. Like in the story with Avraham Avinu, refers to the fields of Amalek. Amalek hasn't been born yet, but they tell the story to the reader. The reader will understand when we say fields of Amalek where that is, even though at the time of Avraham it wasn't called that yet because Amalek hadn't been born. The reader in Parashat Shelach, with the famous battle with Amalek, they'll say, and Moshe picked Hosea. Who? Right? His name's going to change. We know him as Yeshua. Everyone knows Yeshua. They call him Yeshua. You're right, I didn't get that name till later, but the reader needs to know who we're talking about. That's the simplest answer, by the way. This is the simplest answer. Why do you only daven for Yeshua? So, in our last few minutes left, the nicest thing you will ever hear is the famous Yonasan ben Uziel. Targum Yonasan ben Uziel. If you've never heard it, could die to see it. Targum Yonasan ben Uziel is another of the Aramaic translations. Onkelos is the most famous Aramaic translation of the Torah. It's a literal translation. Yonatan ben Uziel is also an Aramaic translation of the Torah, but it's like it's an elucidation. He adds in stories and things. It's not a literal translation. You will find it, Pasuk Tes Zayin, 2.5 lines from the bottom of the Yonasan ben Uziel, top page 155. Elaine, Shimon, Guvriah, these are the names of the men. The Shadar Moshe, that Moshe sent, La Alala, to spy out. Yes, Ara, Alala, by the way, for the word Elul. It says, I think it was from Shlomo Zalman, why do we call Elul Elul? Because it's to spy out, Latour, because we check out and spy out our souls and our deeds to see how we're doing. Nice word. La Alala, to spy out. Yes, Ara, the land, right? Ukidi, and when Chama Moshe, when Moshe saw in Vatanute, when Moshe saw his humility, Kara Moshe LaHoshea bar Nun Yehoshua. When Moshe saw his humility, he called Hoshea ben Nun. He changed his name to Yoshua. What do you mean when he saw his humility? Yoshua was humble. He was like his Rebbe, Moshe, whose outstanding trait was humility. But sometimes too much humility is no good. You don't got to know when to stand up and stick your nose up and say, hey, cut that out. Sometimes it's always good to be, well, me, what's my opinion? They probably know better, and I'm not here to say, but you're supposed to say, hey, guys, out of the question. Moshe saw that Yoshua was way too humble, and he would not stick up and have his own opinion. And he's going to get swayed by everybody else without standing up for what he believes in. He will choose wrong. But he's not a guy who's going to choose, because he's quickly going to say, well, if that's what they all say, who am I? Bad time to have humility. When he saw his humility, he changed his name, and he davened for him, Yehoshua, God should give you the ability to be saved from their thinking, and you should think independently. I can't get you to make the right decision, but I can pray that you will have the courage not to be swayed by their thinking, at least come up with your own opinion. If on your own you also choose to speak lashon hara, do the wrong thing, you have the free will. I can't stop that. But I can ask God to give you the mindset or the ability to think independently. And when you're too humble, sometimes you don't do that.
That's the problem with soul.
Pardon? Sure, exactly. He was doing the people wanted. Absolutely correct, and he couldn't be king. Absolutely correct.
Is this why he has to be called Yeshua when he's a general with Amalek?
Because he needed that courage to fight.
General can't be humble.
Can't be humble. You got to be. Everybody go. You go there. You go here. You go. It's not a time for democracy and humility. It's like I'm in charge. Let's do whatever. It could be excellent. I didn't think about that, but absolutely possible. Excellent, gentlemen. Next week we actually start the mission of the Spies. Here you go.
Ask what the names.
Sure.
Thank you.
They're all funny names.
True. But actually, for France, the mother of France should have been, but for Menashe, so the Mate Yosef and Mate Menashe Gadi Ben Susi. These are both the children of Yosef and Menashe. How come one is?
Oh, I thought people talk about that. Why? By Menashe it says the Mate Yosef.
Yeah.
Correct. But Ephraim doesn't point out that Ephraim is a branch of Yosef. Yeah, people talk about it. I cannot remember. I once heard something on that. It is a good question. I cannot remember for life of me what I heard. That was excellent thinking.
Just to go back a little bit to why why it said, why it specifically wanted to locate it right after the parsha of Miriam.
Right.
So it occurred to me that the way that because it's written in two different ways. Like in the beginning, here it's the way it is, and then in the other it seems to be different. And it seems like it's written in this part. It's like Hashem doesn't want to make Moshe look bad. And then when Moshe is telling it, he doesn't want Hashem to look bad. So he said, "I said it was a great idea."
That's cute. That's
So it's
very,
like they're trying not to
talk lashon hara about
each other. Yeah.
Very nice. That is a very nice thought. That is a very nice thought. It could be noted. That was a very nice thought. Excellent. It stays on the video. There you go.